Let's talk about an uggo of a game. Duke at Louisville. We both took Louisville -4. It was not a sweat. And we talked about this before the season. You and I both. We didn't take the under for the Duke 6 wins, but I think people were looking at, oh, Duke, they won 8 games last year and they returned a lot of guys. How are they not, you know, how is this line not higher? Well, we leaned under because we were like, this offensive line is not deep. And if people get hurt, like it's code red. And we kind of saw that this week. They had 2 guys down this week. Boy, Riley Leonard was running for his life. Running for his
Bad
life.
recipe. Bad.
And he's
I'm this that upsets me. I'm sorry. I think Duke's coaching staff and their training staff should know better than to put Riley Leonard out there, especially against with their beat up O line, and Louisville's got a good D line, right? Like that. I do feel bad for Riley Leonard and Duke in general.
yeah, so this was I mean, if Duke is fully healthy, this is obviously a way better game. Right. They're just kind of plagued by the injury bug right now, and the team is not deep enough. Even though the coaching staff, like defensively, like holding Louisville to 23 points, like that's pretty decent. In the second half, only holding them to 6 points after Louisville got up early. Now Louisville had like 234 rushing yards, but like that was mostly because like Jeff Brom realized that Duke was not going to be able to handle that defensive line and that pass rush, and they were not going to be able to score offensively. So Jeff Brom's like, I'm going to run out the clock, and we're going to get out of here injury free. That's what he said, and they just ran the ball. That's it. So that it also could be why the score is not as bad as it, but also that's why the rushing total is so high as well. So I don't really feel differently about these teams after this game, to be honest. Still think these are 2 well-coached teams, and I don't think any differently of Jack Plummer. He's still just a quarterback. He's just a college quarterback. I don't know. Jawar Jordan played well. I mean, I don't know. This was not a particularly fun game to watch for me.
Yeah, I think Jack Plummer. I mean, he did what he had to do, and what Jeff Brom asked him to do probably was take care of the football, make throws when you need to make throws. Jamar Thrash had 7 receptions for 73 yards. Nobody else on the offense did anything besides Jawar Jordan on the ground. But like you said, like they knew the reality of the situation of the opponent they were playing at home was let's just get a win here. It doesn't matter how ugly it is. They ended up winning by 23-0. Like that looks really impressive, but I think they were willing to win by 13 points or 8 points or 6 points, whatever it would have been, and get a win and go on to the rest of ACC play, which you're staring down, right? North Carolina has lost 2 straight, which has put you right in the driver's seat to control your destiny and to make the ACC championship game. You and Virginia Tech right now are tied for second with only 1 loss, and you play them next week at home. And if you're Jeff Brom in year one and you're Louisville, you have to be really, really excited about the possibilities of what you can do in 1 year there. As for Duke, tough. It's hard to watch Riley Leonard go out there and gut it out for 2 straight weeks and to come up 0-2 after a super, super promising start to the year. Schedule gets a little bit easier down the stretch, but also like it's still conference play. And if Riley Leonard is not healthy and is not 100%, and your O line is struggling and they're beat up, the floor could fall out underneath you, which is really hard to see. But also at the same time, like you have an elite defense, right? You have a good running game, right? You've got things that can help you win games in conference even without your fastball. And you've obviously got Mike Elko and that coach that's super, super impressive. So you're gonna have a chance to win every game, but you also the reality of the situation is you have a chance to lose every game the rest of the way, which is very frustrating compared to how September went and early October. College football is a long season. I think Duke's finding that out right now. It's a very, very long season.
Yeah, but also let's be clear. Like people, I think are moving the goalposts for this team, right? Like 6 wins was the expectation. Like the expectation was barely make a bowl game. Making a bowl game is a good season, and what they did at the beginning of the season was pretty incredible. Now, granted, the Clemson win doesn't look as strong as maybe it did when they originally had that win as like double-digit underdogs, but yeah, I mean the floor could fall out for me underneath them, but they could also I could see them scraping to 7 wins. I mean, I could see that
For
happening as
sure.
well. And
For
and
sure.
that's a good season. That's exceeding expectations. But let's not get carried away with this. Oh, they should have, they should have this, they should have that. They've had a tough schedule, and they've come out with 5 wins so far in that schedule. So I think this is still a good job that Mike Elko's done.
For sure. And I'm sorry if I worded that wrong. I'm not taking any credit away from Duke. I'm actually reiterating that point that you just made about like this has been a really successful year. And no matter what happens the rest of the way, you had to feel good about Mike Elko and Duke in the direction of Duke football. Obviously, if Mike Elko stays, would make it even much better. But think about it, they're 5-3 right now, and their 3 losses are one at home to a top 11 team in Notre Dame, where you probably should have won that football game. I think
Should have won that
we
game.
both agree that. And then 2 really good, the 2 best teams in the ACC on the road in back-to-back weeks with a hobbled quarterback, right? Like the reality of Duke football right now is the expectations are way higher because you've been playing better. Right? Let's not raise the bar, like you said, move the goalposts. On Duke, this is still they've done a really good job.